Happy weekend, 8:03. I wanted to put together a video on what you need to know for Thursday. It's the Unit 4 exam, and we don't have a lot of time to practice. There is a practice test online. Please try to take it and send me an email or call me if you would like to work on it this weekend. So again, this is Unit 4 exam. First and foremost, you need to know the y-intercept formula. Y equals mx plus b. And you need to know that the m, whatever the coefficient of x is the slope of your line, and whatever the b is the y-intercept. So let's look at a quick problem. It's a little shiny right there. So the y-intercept is always in the b format. So if your equation is y equals negative 2x plus 1, I know a couple of things and I can graph that line. So if the slope, my first starting point is that y-intercept. So I look over at my graph, the y-intercept is right here at positive 1. I know the slope is negative 2, so I start here. I'm going to go down 1, 2, and over 1. I can go down 1, 2, and over 1. So I have 3 points, and I'm ready to draw my line. Connect your points with your ruler, and you have a graph of that first line that has a slope of negative 2 and a y-intercept of 1. Now, since I am looking for the solution, and remember that the solution is where my two lines intersect or cross. And wherever they cross, I know that that one point is on both lines, and it's the only point which satisfies the criteria for their solution. We will look at a couple in a minute that do not have a solution, but right now we're going to map out this one that I believe will have a solution. So if you can see this, my second line in green is y equals x plus 3. And because there's nothing in front of the x, there's no coefficient, I know there's an imaginary 1, or my slope is positive 1. But again, my starting point is my intercept, which is 3. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. This is where it intersects the y-axis. And my slope is positive 1. So from my intersect, I'm going to go up 1 and over 1. Second point, up 1, over 1. And I've got 3 points. That's plenty to make a line. So I put my ruler down, and I am going to draw my line. And I can see that I'm going to have an odd place that they intersect. I can't really tell because my lines are kind of fat, and I can see about where it intersects, but I don't know exactly where it intersects. So I'm going to try something different. Here is the graph solution. It's not easy for me to see where they intersect. It looks to me like it's right about here, but it's definitely not on the line. So I'm going to erase this and see if I can figure out my solution by just saying, well, I'm going to use substitution, because if y equals negative 2x plus 1 and y equals 1x plus 3, those two things have to equal each other. So I have negative 2x plus 1 equals x plus 3. So I'm using now the substitution method, since I couldn't easily see where those two graphs intersected. So I see that I have an x on this side and an x on this side, but because I want to keep my x's positive, I'm actually going to add 2x to this side. Positive x plus negative 2x cancels, so I add 2x here. And I get 3x. 1x plus 2x is 3x's. I'm going to get rid of my 3 right here. Opposite of addition is subtraction, but if I do this to the right side, I must do it also to the left side. These are going to cancel. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So in order to get my x by itself, I'm going to divide by 3. Divide by 3. And now I can see why I couldn't figure out that point easily from my graph. X is going to be equal to negative 2/3. And this is the point right over here. So x is equal to negative 2/3. It's going to be just right over this side. Now if I want to find my y, I take what I have for my x and I substitute it back into either equation. So I have a little workspace right here. Let's give this a try. Y equals negative 2/3 times 1, so it's just negative 2/3 plus 3. So what I need to do to subtract 2/3 from 3, 2/3, in order to get this as a 3, I'm going to have to multiply both sides by 3 over 3. So y equals negative 2/3 plus 9/3, negative 2. So y is going to be equal to this really crazy number, which is 7/3. Okay, so 7/3, if I were to make that a mixed number, that's going to be 2 1/3, 2 1/3. And I look over and see here, yep, that looks about right. 2 1/3 is a little bit over 2. So my solution right here is negative 2/3 and positive 7/3. That's my x and my y coordinate. Always remember the x goes first, the y goes second. So I'm going to just stop this video here as kind of a primer for what you need to know on the test and come back and step through each one of the tests.